What's good, y'all? Welcome back to a reaction, and today we're reacting to the problem with gaming handhelds. So this guy is interesting, to say the least. Um, Basically, he says that the Steam Deck is too big. Apparently, like that's his main problem. He goes over the Steam Deck, and he pretty much just bashes it completely. Like he's like, "Oh, the Steam Deck is too big." So let's get right into this. We're going to react to this, and I'm going to dismantle all of his points. That's basically the entirety of this video. So if you like this, yeah, just we're about to see. We're about to see what he has to say about the Steam Deck.
Look, we all know
So
what
let's
the video
go.
is about. This isn't portable. Well,
Well, actually, by definition, that is portable. Yeah. Do you know what the definition of portable is? It's easy to carry around. It's an adjective. It means easily carried. I might flash a picture of the definition on the screen right here so that you have more context. But yeah, that is portable. It's a Steam Deck. You can fit it in a backpack. It's easy to carry around. That is literally the definition of portable. But anyway, continue.
technically it is, but you have to get a whole bag or case for this. Like, I don't want to carry all that. I just want to.
Oh, so you're saying because you have to get a case for it, which you don't have to get a case for it. You could carry it around in your backpack without the case. That would be like saying, oh, well, cell phones are not portable because you have to fit it in your pocket and carry it around in your pocket. You know what I mean? Like, what is your point?
Play my games. Yeah, you can play God of War on it, but let's be honest here. Do you want to? Like, just think about this. Like, just sit down and think about this. Do you want to?
Yes. What if somebody says yes? Are you gonna go to their house and
Play
what if someone says
one
yes?
of the most cinematic games of all time on a box? Look, let me clarify this before you go into the comments. I'm not saying the Steam Deck is a bad console. Not at all.
I'm not saying that the Steam Deck is a bad console. Spends the entirety of the video criticizing the Steam Deck for being too big.
I actually, quite the opposite. I genuinely think it's a bargain with what they give you. But the size! It's so fucking big! It's a good console, but unless you're always outside, is 2
The Steam Deck is not a console, it's a handheld PC, but whatever.
hours of gameplay enough? Like, let's be honest here. If we're gonna play
2 hours of gameplay. The Steam Deck has about 13 hours maximum of gameplay or battery life, I guess. I think. Now I could be wrong, but yeah.
games, you're not gonna sell for two. Obviously, some of you might have different times and schedules, that's all fine, but when you have the chance, the battery, you're not gonna let the battery stop you from playing games. No, you want to play more.
Yeah, I said that the maximum is about 13 hours. Now I could be wrong though. And it also, again, it depends on what games you are running and where you're playing them, obviously, but yeah.
I can genuinely see the people who would absolutely love this, and I love it too, but there's a line between it being portable and an inconvenient. The idea of
It's really not an inconvenience. I could fit it in my backpack if I wanted to, which is, convenient for me. Is he going to say next that like laptops and iPads are inconvenient? I don't understand what his points are.
portability is that it's comfortable to go anywhere with. You don't need to play AAA games on the go. Games that are specifically designed to be cinematic and use immersion to attract players are thrown out the window when you're on a bench surrounded by people.
Wait. Say that again. We're only a minute and a half into the video, by the way.
The immersion to games that are specifically designed to be cinematic and use immersion to attract players are thrown out the window when you're on a bench surrounded by people.
Okay, games that are specifically designed to be immersive are not immersive when you're outside on a bench surrounded by people. What? I have no idea what he's on about. Like, what does that have to do with the problem with gaming handhelds? I don't get it. I don't know what he's saying.
The game loses all sense of immersion and just becomes, well, a game.
Well,
Obviously,
yeah, it's a game. Yeah, that is what it is. That that is what it is.
this doesn't apply to every single game, but still, not all games need to be played outside. Did you think the people who made The Last of Us designed the entire game to be experienced on the go? I'm just gonna give you 5 seconds.
What was the question? You said, do you think the devs who made The Last of Us designed the game to be played outside? I don't care what the developers designed the game for, you know, like if I have the capability to play the game on the go, then how is that a bad thing for the Steam for the Steam Deck? Like why is that a bad thing for the Steam Deck? I don't understand. Like I have the capability to play
Yes, I have to respectfully ask you to leave before YouTube demonetized me for what I'm about to say. So
Oh, okay. So if somebody disagrees with your point, then you're going to have a problem with them. See, now you're sounding like an asshole. You know, like I was with you before. At least you were, you know, criticizing it even though you were wrong. But now you're just saying, oh, well, if you disagree with me, then fuck you, is pretty much what you're saying. You know, like okay, now I can't get behind your video.
oh yeah, just leave the video and watch my other vids. My other vids are kind of chill, but this right now, what I'm talking here is a genuine thing that is inside my soul. This is something important to me, very important
Dude, it's not that serious. It's just a Steam Deck. Like, calm down.
to me. They made the game so you could experience it to its full potential at home, where the only thing
They made the game so you can experience it at home. How do you know what the developers were intending when they made the game? Also, again, what does that have to do with your title? The problem with gaming handhelds. You're talking about something completely unrelated to your point. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand what you're saying.
you can focus on is the story. The game can't give me reasons to.
Also, if, you know, you're trying to play like a handheld just for the cinematics and story, just go watch a fucking movie or something. Or watch like the cutscenes on YouTube. Like, that's not a valid point.
Feel the story when I'm on a bus or a plane or even at a f***ing wedding. Sure, yes, I agree. It's nice to play these games. These
Wait, say that again. Say that again.
Reasons to feel the story when I'm on a bus or a plane. The game can't give me reasons to feel the story when I'm on a bus or a plane or even at a f***ing wedding.
The game can't give me reason to get immersed into it if I'm on a bus, on a plane, or at a fucking wedding. Well, why the fuck are you playing a video game at a wedding?
Sure, yes, I agree. It's nice to play these high quality games on the go, but just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should. How the hell are you to tell me how I'm supposed to use my Steam Deck? Also, you just dismantled your entire point. You said that you can do it. So if I can do it, then I'm gonna do it. Like, what is your point? How is that a bad thing for the Steam Deck? If I can do it, then that's actually a good thing for it. Because it has the capabilities to run these AAA titles on it at better resolution than other handhelds. You know what I mean? Like, how is that a bad thing for the Steam Deck? I don't understand what your point is.
It's not to say that there are games that I would love to play on the go, like Slime Rancher, Blueprints, or even Hades, because they're not focused on giving you an experience. Well, yes, they're giving an experience, but what I mean...
Slime Ranchers and Hades, they're not focused on giving you an experience. And then immediately in the next sentence, oh yeah, but they are giving you an experience. Like, brother, did you write a script for this video, or are you just saying stuff? You know, like, I'm being even more harsh on you because you said earlier that if someone has a differing opinion to you, then you want them to get off the video. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just sounding, what's the word? Well, not pessimistic, but like, just like an asshole, you know? It's just, I don't know. That's why I'm being more harsh on you now. You know, I'm ramping it up now because of what you said earlier.
They don't need a lot of brain power to, like, oh, I have to just sit and just immerse myself in the world and the story. No, they're just focused on having fun. You're just playing the game just like, oh, I'm having so much fun.
Okay, so you're saying that, oh well, the game is, if it's fun, then that makes the handheld portable or whatever. So if I can run fucking what's it called, Snake on my laptop, or like Balloons Tower Defense on my laptop, or I don't know, like Candy Crush on my fucking phone, games that are designed to kill time, I guess. If I'm playing those on my laptop, that means that my laptop is now a portable. I mean, yeah, a portable device. Like for that reason, that's why it's portable. Like, bro, what are you on about? You don't even know the definition of portable, and you're trying to criticize the Steam Deck for not being portable, even though it clearly is. And like, it's too big apparently. Like, if you think that the Steam Deck is too big, just get a gym membership and just shut the fuck up, you know? Like, I don't understand what you're trying to say.
That's the point. That's the point. Not to say that these AAA games aren't fun. Well, some of them, but like, we're not gonna talk about those. But still, they're constrained on what they can offer when you're outside affected by external factors. Literally, the best example for this is the Nintendo Switch.
So when you're outside affected by external factors, why the fuck are you playing a handheld device outside for? I mean, again, your argument, you said, oh, well, why would I play AAA titles on a handheld even though I can do it? You know, like, it makes the handheld less portable because I'm playing AAA titles with really strong immersion and really strong cinematics. Like I said, just go watch a fucking movie or something if you want really good cinematics. And you know, I just don't get what your points are.
Reason the Nintendo Switch sold so well was because it was not only portable, but it also can be played on your TV. Their exclusive games took into account.
The reason why the Switch sold so well was because you could play it on your TV and because it's portable. Meanwhile, you're talking about a video where you criticize a Steam Deck for being portable. What are you saying? I don't get it. So I genuinely, I don't understand what you're saying.
Super Mario Odyssey anywhere you want because it doesn't need a lot of brain power to like enjoy the game. Like, there is a story, but like, you're not playing Super Mario Odyssey because of the story. Let's be honest here. You're just playing to have fun. There are games.
Well, yeah, you're not playing Mario Odyssey for the story. I do agree with you there. But that's because the Switch doesn't have it has limited hardware to where you can't enjoy AAA titles on them because you know, the graphical capabilities are not there on a Switch. But how is that a bad thing for the Steam Deck? Because you can run these AAA games on the Steam Deck with without that problem on the Steam Deck. So how is that a bad thing on the Steam Deck? If anything, that's a good thing for the Steam Deck because, like I said earlier, you can play, you know, God of War, which was the only title that you mentioned, by the way. You showed Ghost of Tsushima. But even with that, you could play those. I think Ghost of Tsushima got added to the PC like a year. Well, I might have to look that up. I know Ghost of Yotei just dropped, so we're going to have to wait a little bit to play it on the PC. But I'm pretty sure Ghost of Tsushima came out for the PC like a year ago. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. You can play these AAA titles on the Steam Deck, which is a big deal for it. That was the selling point of the Steam Deck. And you can play these games wherever you want to. Now, do I recommend that? Not really, because it's going to drain the battery life on it. But you can do it. And that's what you said earlier in your video. You said, well, just because you can do it, why should you? You know, but you can do it. So you dismantled your own argument. And also, it's not even... I don't even know.
Games on the Steam Deck that are pretty fun on the go, but look at the fucking size. Look at the size.
All right, so he's showing the Steam Deck comparison to all the other handhelds. I used to have a PSP when I was a kid, and that shit was big enough for me when I was a kid. Pause, but that shit's too small. If I were to play a PSP today, it'd be really awkward. The OLED. The OLED to me is actually kind of small, if you ask me. The Steam Deck is the perfect size for me personally. Pause. The GBA Nobody has a GBA anymore, and if they do, they're just collectors. You know, it's a collector's item. I don't even know what this even is. This probably came out before I was born. It looks like a Sega. I don't even know, a Dreamcast. No, a Dreamcast is a console, right? I don't even know what this even is, because I had a Sega Genesis when I was a kid. That was my first ever console, and I played Sonic on it. Again, I'm getting off topic, but the Steam Deck is not too big. I don't get what you're saying. Like, you could fit it in your backpack. You know, I don't understand what you're saying. It's not that much bigger than the OLED. You can clearly see. Like, I don't get what he's trying to say.
It's still fucking big. A lot of people don't consider the Nintendo Switch to be a new gen console because of how weak it is, and my response to that is, okay, like, sure, yeah. Have you played any of their games? Like, I'm sorry you can't play Red Dead Redemption 2 on it, but let's be honest here, it defeats the whole purpose of the Switch.
Well, you can't play third-party games on the Switch because the Switch doesn't. Well, you can play them, but you can't, let me rephrase. You can't enjoy AAA games on a Switch because the hardware on it is so limited that you're not gonna get, you know, as fun of an experience on it. But you can't say the same thing about the you can't say that about the Steam Deck. You can play Red Dead Redemption on the Steam Deck if you want to. So you only brought up 2 games. You only brought up God of War and Red Dead Redemption. We're 4 minutes in. This video is 15 minutes long, and you haven't brought up any other handhelds. You haven't criticized any other handhelds. You've only criticized the Steam Deck so far, which you barely have done anyway. Your whole entire argument, I guess, is that because you can't get immersed into a AAA title when you're on the go, which is debatable. But you're saying you can't get immersed into those games because you're outside or you're at a funeral. I mean, not a funeral, a wedding, or, you know, like you're trying to make an argument that the game developers didn't intend for these games to be played on the go, even though you don't really know what the game developers were thinking when they made their games anyway. So I don't really know what you're trying to say there, which is completely irrelevant to the title anyway. So yeah, let's continue.
Best games on the Switch aren't realistic AAA games. When you have a game like Breath of the Wild, it's evidence that graphics are not the only thing that makes a game good.
Yeah, I said earlier that graphics aren't the only thing that makes a game good. That's actually a subjective opinion, what other people think makes a game good. That's not an objective argument. Like I said, the examples I brought up earlier, like, you know, Balloons Tower Defense, fucking, I don't know, Candy Crush or some shit. These are all games that are arguably really good games, really successful properties. But guess what? They don't have good graphics. Why do you think that is? Oh, because they're convenient games to play. That, you know, not immerse you, but they're time killers. So again, there's a lot of things that go into determining if a game is good, but that has nothing to do with the title of your video. So I don't really know what you're trying to say here.
I have a genuine beef with people who are saying, if it's not realistic, then it's a bad game. It's like, you're complaining about the game?
Yeah, you're repeating yourself. We already established that if the game, you know, doesn't have good graphics, it doesn't make it a bad game. You already said that. You're repeating yourself.
That's not realistic when it clearly, it's trying to invoke an art style, a design. And if you're complaining that the Nintendo Switch can't handle realistic graphics, it's a goddamn toaster. It has 4 gigs of RAM. Sadly, companies now are focusing on power more than portability. So, I picked 3 portable consoles with not only good ass games, but portability to the point that it can fit.
Also, again, let's see what he just said.
Graphics. It's a goddamn toaster. It has 4 gigs of RAM. Sadly, companies now are focusing on power more than portability.
Companies now are focusing more on power rather than portability. You don't know that. Have you interviewed with these companies to get what their focuses are? Because if you haven't, then you can't make that point. You don't know what their focuses are. And even if that's true, who cares? Like, the companies are focused on the bottom line, which is money. They want to get paid, usually. So they don't really care about portability, or should we focus on portability, or should we focus on having good cinematics? Like, you don't know what these companies are focused on, but we do know from an objective standpoint that the companies are focused on money. But again, like I said, you don't know what their intent was with them. So I don't know what you're saying.
I picked 3 portable consoles with not only good ass games, but portability to the point that it can fit in your pocket.
That Goomba looks so. Well then.
In my opinion, the Nintendo Switch Lite is superior. It is the most modern out of the 3 consoles that I'm about to talk about.
Oh, you're talking about the Switch and not even the OLED. This video came out a month ago, by the way, so the Switch 2 is already out. He probably didn't bring up the Switch 2 because of its price tag, but the Switch is irrelevant right now because of the Switch 2 being out. So I don't even understand why you're even using, especially why are you using the Switch Lite, which is the inferior version of the OLED? Like, I don't even understand what you're trying to. Okay,
also
whatever.
has the most up-to-date games in general. Like, you can play Hogwarts Legacy on it, you can play Monster Hunter Rise on it. The size is perfect. Like, it's not too big and chunky, and it's not too small and slippery. The grip is good. Like, I'm gonna be honest, the grip is good because it's small enough that it can fit in your whole hand. The problem that I had with the base Switch was it was too big to the point that my hands couldn't grip the whole thing.
You think that the Switch OLED is too big? Bro, you need to lift some weights or something. You need to, like, your grip strength is trash. Like, you really think that the Switch OLED is too big? That shit is small as hell. And then the Switch Lite is even worse. It's uncomfortable to use. It's so small. Like, what are you on about?
Obviously, the D-pad. The D-pad on the Switch Lite is so much better. Oh my god.
Bro, you showed a picture of the Steam Deck earlier with the comparison to all the other handhelds. The Steam Deck has a D-pad, so what are you on about?
It's so much better. I did not understand how much I needed a D-pad until I used a basic controller. Plus, if you jailbreak it, it has so much potential, my god. If you like Nintendo games but also want a variety from modern studios, the Switch is perfect. This one. But if you want something even more portable, might I suggest...
Also, let's not talk about the storage space on the Switch. It's trash. You can only get like 7 or 8. Not even that. You can only get like... Well, yeah, you could probably get 7 or 8 games. But like, the battery life on the Lite is worse than the OLED. And that's definitely worse than the Steam Deck. Like, why would you even play a Switch Lite anymore? Like, that shit is irrelevant. The Switch 2 dropped, and the Switch 2 was probably not even... I don't know. That's a case for another video, but I don't think the Switch 2 even compares to the Steam Deck either, in terms of like stats and everything. But I'd have to research that. Okay, so for the audio listeners, he's switching over to another handheld, pretty much. So let's see what he says about this. I don't know what it is. I'm guessing because he's showing God of War, he's probably going to talk about the PSP. Oh, but one thing I do want to say props for, these transitions are good though. These are pretty good transitions. This video was well made. I do want to credit you there.
In my opinion.
Oh, you're talking about the Vita. Ooh, that's tough. So the Vita, that shit flopped at launch. I remember when it came out and that shit flopped. It flopped almost as bad as the Nintendo Wii. And nobody talks about the Vita anymore. That shit is irrelevant. So let's see what he has to say about PlayStation.
Most underrated console in general. In general, it's such a powerful console for its size. This console can genuinely fit in your pocket. The fact that it can run...
Oh, so that's your definition of portable? Is if it can fit in your pocket, it's portable? Okay. All right. That might be one of the worst takes I've ever heard in my life. But yeah,
Borderlands
don't even know the definition of portable and you're trying to criticize the Steam Deck.
2 shows the wasted potential of the Vita. Since the death of the console, the modding community has given it life. See what I did there? That was a... You have to have real ball knowledge to understand what I just said. The PS Vita has Risk of Rain 1, God of War 1 and 2, the Ratchet & Clank trilogy, Hotline Miami 1 and 2, Little Big Planet, Persona 4 Golden, and Gravity Rush, and like so much more. It has so many. It has Undertale. Like, you could play Undertale. If you're not interested in these games, then there are emulators. Game Boy Advance, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, Nintendo DS. Yeah.
So why are you simping for handhelds when your title of your video is the problem with gaming handhelds? Are you not contradicting yourself? I mean, honestly, I'm not surprised considering most of your video had nothing to do with the source material or the title of what you were saying anyway. But like, you would think that you would not have included this part of your video because you're simping for other handhelds, even though your title is the problem with gaming handhelds. And you didn't even go over why handhelds are bad. You only brought up one video or one game, which was God of War. Oh yeah, and you did bring up Red Dead Redemption. You brought up 2 games which are not even relevant anymore. You brought up you try to say that the games are not good because or handhelds or the Steam Deck is not good because it can run AAA titles with strong cinematics on them, but why would you play those when you're outside? Even though I don't know why you would even be playing a Steam Deck outside in the first place. Like, I don't know what you're trying to, like your points are all over the place. This video is incoherent, makes no sense. I don't understand. I wouldn't be going so harsh on you if you didn't say earlier that if someone disagrees with you, you told them to leave the video, because that right there is just, disrespectful. Like, you're not going to respect other people's opinions. Also, you're just making an entire video to kind of try to bash the Steam Deck, which also you're being disingenuous about the Steam Deck, saying that it's not portable, even though you don't even know the definition of what portable even is. Like, I don't understand why you're even simping for these other handhelds that aren't relevant anymore, by the way. Like a PS Vita, like, what are you talking about? Like, I genuinely, I don't know what the thought process of this video was. I genuinely, like, I don't get it.
Yes, it can run Nintendo DS. The modding
Yeah, and the Steam Deck can run Nintendo DS games as well.
Put ports into the game. They put Hollow Knight on this. They put Sonic Mania. They put Cuphead. They even put Balatro. They put Balatro. Yes, it runs like shit with 20 frames and no sounds. And I don't know what happens if you play with fucking Baron and 3 blueprints and a fucking mime. I hope the PS Vita doesn't fucking explode. But still, it runs Balatro. I'm not gonna complain. If you're not...
Yeah, and you can get all those games on the Steam Deck as well. And they'll run better, and the battery life is better on the Steam Deck than on the Vita. Also, look how small this shit is. Like, I'm sorry, but I would not play... You would never catch me playing on a Vita, like, ever. And then that's another thing. He's showing the memory. The memory, 10 gigabytes, that's all you get. Like, come on, man. Get a Steam Deck. It's way better.
Interested in these either, well, you can play all the PSP and PS1 games.
Yeah, and you can play all that on the Steam Deck and more. So what's your point?
This thanks to the modding community. The PS Vita is the most rounded console. It has so many games for anyone. Plus, the camera. The camera gives you that nostalgic feeling of the early 2000s. And honestly,
Dude, why would you get a PS Vita for the camera? Just get a fucking Nikon. I don't even know. What is your point?
with that. To this day, the PS Vita are still porting games on it. You can even play Deltarune Chapter 1 and 2 on it. Overall, the Vita is the console that will stay with you in the long run. It will. Like, I had this PS Vita for 2015.
Yeah, until the fragile buttons on that shit breaks, and then you're fucked. Just get a Steam Deck.
And I'm still playing on it. I'm not kidding. I'm still playing the PS Vita. Still, right now. I'm playing Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. And, I'm kind of addicted, to be honest.
I don't know anything about Monster Hunter, but I would argue you could get it on the Steam Deck, and it would probably run better and look better, and yeah.
Some of you guys might not like the design of the Vita, and that is why, segue not to an ad, no one will sponsor me sadly, segue to the next handheld, which
That was kind of funny. That was kind of funny. But you should be careful with the wording that you use. You said no one will sponsor me. If any potential sponsors see that and they're like, "Oh, well, no one will sponsor me." You know, like that sounds kind of disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't want to sponsor you hearing you say that. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. So just be a little careful, be a little more mindful of the way that you say it. You know what I mean?
which is not only the most aesthetic, but also
Like I would have just said, because let's not segue into an ad because I want to get sponsored one day. That's what I would have said. That's a nitpick to your video, but that's what I would have, that's the way that I would have said it, you know? Like I aspire to get sponsored. Don't say nobody will sponsor me, because then it just sounds, you know, like not egotistical, but kind of like disrespectful to them in a way. You know what I mean?
the most portable.
Like you're driving the partnerships away by saying that, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Let's see. So to the audio listeners, he's segueing into another handheld. Again, like I said, I don't know why he's doing this, because he said earlier that, well, the title of the video is the problem with gaming handhelds. I'm repeating my point, but you know, I'm just saying I don't know why he's doing that. It's kind of stupid. I don't know why you would include that in the video. And if he's showing Jack and Daxter, I'm guessing he's going to be talking about something that's PlayStation. Don't tell me he's going to mention the PSP. Yeah, he's showing God of War. He's gonna mention the PSP, isn't he?
The PSP is a juggernaut.
Oh boy.
I love it so much. You thought the PS Vita was good? You haven't even seen the PSP. This is exactly what I mean when console limitations can be an advantage. Take, for example, Metal Gear Solid.
Console limitations are an advantage? What? I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Well, no wonder he was simping for Nintendo earlier in the video. Because, you know, the Switch has limitations. That was kind of what he was talking about earlier in the video anyways, with Red Dead Redemption not being able to play that on a Switch. So you mean to tell me that handheld limitations are a good thing? What? For real? Okay, whatever. He unironically said that handheld or limitations to the device is a good thing. Like I don't even get that.
Peace Walker.
I don't get that.
A whole ass Metal Gear Solid game on the PSP. Actually, I lied. 2 whole ass Metal Gear Solid game, which is Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops, but Peace Walker is more superior, so I'm gonna talk about that. You like Metal Gear Solid 5 with the mother-based system and the photons and development of weapons? Do you like the stealth of Metal Gear Solid 3 with all the camouflage and having a stealth meter? Well, combine all these and what you get is Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. I cannot state how good this game is on such a small console. It's not only the best Metal Gear Solid game on the PSP, it's one of the best Metal Gear Solid games in general. Because of the console limitation, Peace Walker's story is shown as a visual novel, but I think it wasn't because of the console itself. When you first started the game, there is clearly—
Oh, wait, did you say console limitation? The PSP is not a console. It's a handheld. Okay, but this is irrelevant to your video anyway. I don't know why you're glazing Metal Gear Solid on the PSP. You know, maybe if you were making a Metal Gear Solid review on the PSP, I would understand why you would be glazing it like this. But I don't get it.
a cutscene, but the cutscene transitions to a visual novel. Kojima explicitly chose to make it a visual novel because it's the PSP, it's a portable console. Even if you don't like reading, the game is fully voice acted. Kojima clearly made the game with portability in mind, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Companies should make portable handhelds for studios that understand that it's portable. Obviously not every PSP game did it like Kojima, but the games on the PSP are genuinely made for the PSP. The Steam Deck isn't portable not only because it's too big, but also a lot of the games aren't made for portability. If you genuinely...
There we go. That's his thesis. We're 11 minutes in and we finally get what he was trying to say.
But
Did
also,
you hear it?
a lot of the games
Did you hear
Steam
it?
Deck isn't genuinely made for the PSP. The Steam Deck isn't portable not only because it's too big, but
The Steam Deck isn't portable not only because it's too big,
also a lot of the games aren't made for portability.
but also because a lot of the games on it are not designed for portability in mind. Okay, but you only brought up God of War and Red Dead Redemption. You didn't bring up any other games. And you don't know that they're not designed for portability in mind. You don't know what the developers were thinking while they were making those games. And you even discredited your whole entire argument when you said just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. You know, like you discredited your entire narrative with that line because you can do it. So because you can do it and the Steam Deck has the capability to do it, that should be a good thing on it. That should be a positive for the Steam Deck. But instead you try to flip it and try to like twist the narrative into making it a bad thing for the Steam Deck by saying that because you can't play God of War outside or on a park bench or at a wedding for some reason. I don't know why you would be playing video games at somebody's wedding, but if you really have the urge to play video games and you can't hold that urge, just invest in some, I don't know, like noise canceling headphones or something, you know? Or just stay your ass home. Don't even go to the wedding. Like, your points are not, you know, they don't make sense. They don't tie into the problem with gaming handhelds. You simped for 3 handhelds at the end of your video, even though the entirety of your video is supposed to be criticizing handhelds. You only talk about the Steam Deck. You don't bring up the Rogue Ally or any other handhelds. You only bring up 3 irrelevant handhelds that, you know, are outdated with the Nintendo Switch Lite, PSP, and PS Vita, which you simped for, which contradicted the title of your video. And then the only handheld that you criticized was the Steam Deck, which is better than all of the handhelds that you simped for. I wouldn't be going so hard on you if you didn't say earlier on in the video that you were pretty much saying, if you disagree with me, then click off my video. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be going so hard on you if you didn't say that.
If you genuinely like portability and want good games, then I recommend the PSP. Hands down. It has the best designs.
No, look how uncomfortable this looks to play. It's so small.
The best controlled. It can actually fit in your pocket. This is smaller than your phone. Same with the PS Vita.
Oh yeah, and you didn't know the definition of portable.
If you don't like playing the PSP games on it, you can run emulators. Like, imagine playing Pokemon on this. Yeah, the PS Vita can play emulators and technically it can maybe play more emulators than the...
Okay, well, you can get emulators on the Steam Deck and they're even better. Not to mention you get more customization with the Steam Deck because it's a Linux device. It's pretty much just a PC, a handheld PC. You know, so I don't get it. I don't understand what you're trying to say.
PSP, but still, it's all about the vibe. It's all about the vibe. And the PSP...
Oh, it's all about the vibe. Okay, I see what you mean. It's all about the vibe. Yeah. Being somebody who used to have a PSP when it dropped, sorry, I hit my microphone. I do agree with you. There is a level of novelty to being able to play the PSP, you know, maybe like at the family function or something. I remember back in the day I had a DS and I had Mario Kart DS on it, and I would go to my the family functions, and then I would meet cousins, you know, that I never knew I had, and they would also have a DS, and we would play Mario Kart DS together on it. You know, that was before Nintendo became a greedy corporation. I have a video, I'll put the link in the description, of why Nintendo is greedy, and I made that a couple days ago, so check that shit out if you want more information, please. I criticize them for their greedy practices today. But we're getting off topic. I do agree with you that there is a level of nostalgia with having a DS and a PSP. I will agree with you on that. But everything else in this video, I disagree with completely. And I don't like how you're so like disrespectful about the Steam Deck, I guess. I mean, I understand if you don't like the Steam Deck, that's fine. It's not for everybody, but the way that you portray your points by saying, oh, it's too big, I need to hit the gym, you know, it fits in this carrying case, which the OLED has as well, and you simp for the Nintendo, the Switch anyway, so, but yeah, you're like, yeah, the Steam Deck is too big, but it really isn't. And you know, you also say, oh, well, if you disagree with me, then you click off the video. Like, you know what I mean? It just sounds so condescending. That's the word. You sound so condescending in this video. You should be more I'm trying to be more pro-consumer, where like, yeah, you should get a Steam Deck. And you even said at the beginning of the video that you think that the Steam Deck is a good handheld. So I don't know. I don't understand why you are on the fence about it. Either you're criticizing it or not, you know?
PSP is the magnum opus of cool, sleek design. There is nothing more important to me than the absolute aura and vibe of a console, and the PSP is the definition of that. I like the...
Yeah, but the PSP is not a console, it's a handheld.
Nintendo Switch Lite. But the PSP is just different. It generally gives you a vibe, and that is something that no other console can do.
Okay, so that's the end of his video. Not a good video. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, that wasn't a good video. I'm sorry. I don't want you guys to spread hate or anything. You know, I don't want you guys to go to his channel and, you know, spread hate. That's not what this is for. I was feeling argumentative today, and I wanted to hear a really bad take on the internet and completely dismantle it. The production on your video was good, I will say that. But I just didn't like your points. They were really bad. They didn't tie into the problem with gaming handhelds. You didn't really explain the problem with gaming handhelds. You only explained one handheld, which was the Steam Deck. Even though the Rogue Ally exists, there are other handhelds, other more modern handhelds you could have brought up. If anything, you should have just changed the title to I don't like the Steam Deck, or PC handhelds. I don't like PC handhelds because they're too big, apparently, even though they're not. You don't know the definition of portable. The criticisms you brought up weren't even the Steam Deck's fault, you know, because you said like, oh, well, game developers didn't intend for these games, these AAA titles, to be portable, even though that makes no sense. You said, oh, well, you can play these games on the Steam Deck, but why why should you? You know, it's like, what? Like, you know, that was where I drew the line, was when you were like, oh, no. Where I drew the line was where you said, oh, well, what part was it? It was where you brought up The Last of Us, and you're like, oh, well, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds, and if you disagree, then click off the video. That was the condescending part of your video. It's probably right here.
Outside, did you think the people who made The Last of Us designed the entire game to be experienced on the go? I'm just gonna give you 5 seconds. If you said yes, I have to respectfully ask you to leave before YouTube demonetized me for what I'm about to say. So
yeah, like that right there is just condescending. If that's not condescending, then I don't know what is. You basically said, Oh, well, did you think that the game developers of The Last of Us designed their game to be played um, on the go? Which I don't really know. Maybe. Who cares? The fact that you can do it on the Steam Deck is a big deal, is a good thing. So I don't know. That first of all, that point is wrong, and second of all, that's just condescending for you to be like, I'm going to give you 5 seconds, and if you said yes to that, then I'm going to have to respectfully tell you to fuck off because my opinion is more valid than yours. That's basically what you said. And that part was where I drew the line, because that's just condescending. And then all your other points didn't really relate much to the title of the video, so it was clickbait. And then at the end of the video, you completely glazed 3 other irrelevant and outdated handhelds on the market, which you probably can't even buy the PSP anymore. You probably can't, and maybe you can. I don't know. They're kind of like a collector's item, or I don't even know. They're pretty old school. So it made no sense why you even brought those videos up anyway, or I mean handhelds up anyway, because you know, you tried to say that the PSP and PS Vita have emulation. So does the Steam Deck, and they have better emulation because it's a PC handheld. All of the games that you brought up you can play on the Steam Deck, so I don't understand how that's a flex for like Nintendo, the Switch Lite and all that. Like, you don't know the definition of portable. Yeah. I don't even know. But anyways, that's gonna wrap this video up. If you liked it, be sure to hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a video. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.